Okay, one of the hardest tools to master, but as soon as you can, try, right, to master them. No, I'll start that again. One of the hardest tools to master is the pen tool, and that's what we're going to look at now. So the pen tool looks like a fountain pen, so I'll click on that, and there you go. I have a fountain pen with a little X on it beside it. Now before I actually do anything with the pen tool, I'll just show you here. If you look on the tool panel, there's a little black triangle in the bottom right of the pen tool icon. That means you can make more selections. So if I click and hold the mouse down, these are all the options that come with the pen tool. Right? So there's 4 other options. There's the pen tool normal, a pen tool with a plus beside it, a pen tool with a minus beside it, and this one, which is the convert anchor point tool. We'll deal with that in a moment. Right? But we just want to be on normal pen. So the pen tool, if I just click and then I click randomly, the pen tool will create a continuous line, which is called a path. Right? It's not called a line, it's called a path. Right? And I can make that line go on and on and on. Right? However, if I go back to the point that I started, you'll see that there's a little circle that appears by the pen tool, which means I'm at the point that I began, and if I click there, I now have, I'll just change it round, a completed shape. That is the shape I've just created, right, with the pen tool. So just click on that with the selection tool and I will delete that, go back to the pen. If, however, I wanted more of a wavy line, or a curved path, right, what I do is I click on the page, I then click but hold the mouse down at my next point, and then I drag, and you can see that these 2 points that have come off are affecting the way it will curve. So where my mouse is now at the bottom is the direction I want to go. Oh, I need to change that back to stroke, sorry. So you can see that I'm now curving down, and from this point the curve will want to go this way, but I'm going to click down here so it curves up and round. You see, like that? So I can curve it round and you can get a very smooth line. And again, I go back to the same point and click on the selection tool, and you can see that that is just a stroked line, but it's also a completed shape. If I was to click on that and change the stroke to the fill, there we go, one completed shape. Right. So that's the pen tool. I'll just leave it on that shape a second. Right, I'll change it back to a line now, and I'll thicken it up. Right. Now, if, say, I wanted to adjust any of these points, I could use the direct selection tool that we've covered, right? Or let's say, for instance, one of these points I wanted to delete, right? One of these anchor points. What I would do is I would click on the pen tool and I would go to the pen with the minus, and I would go to one of the anchor points I wanted to get rid of, say that one, and I would click. Now this happens a lot. You've got to be really accurate with the click, because it says please use the delete anchor point on an anchor point of the path, right? So that means I've just missed. So there you go, I got it that time, right? And you'll notice that the anchor point I've just deleted is gone, and the path has adjusted automatically to be between the remaining anchor points, right? Therefore, common sense, if I wanted to put another anchor point in, I go to the pen with the plus and I would click there, and there you go, I have a new anchor point. Now the final option within the pen tool is for the convert anchor point tool. So if I was to click here on this anchor point, any points that adjust the curve disappear and start again, and I can adjust these points. Well, and you see there again I missed. But the difference about the convert anchor point tool as opposed to the direct selection tool is it will convert these points, the curve parts, individually rather than the direct selection tool, which does them both together. So I have more control in creating my shape with these points. I could remove one of these curves altogether by going back to the anchor point I began with, and there you go, it's totally gone. Okay? So there you have the pen tool at work. Right. You will also see up in the options at the top that, of course, if I wanted to create a shape, I could give it a fill. The stroke I've got set to black. This is the width of the stroke. It's set to 3 points, so it's a 3-point line. There you go, that's a 3-point line. I could thicken it up, and there you go, I'll change it to 10. That's a 10-point line. The brush is, you could do different brush styles. So for instance, if I was to click on this, go back to the pen tool, there you go. You can see it's got more of a brush effect. Right. Opacity means how see-through something is. If it's opaque, 100%, you can't see through it at all. If I knock that down to 26%, it's 26% transparent. You can see the shapes behind through it. If I just bump that up again, you can see how that gets darker, and you can see less of that black line through it. Yeah. Style is various styles for the path. So these are like preset things. I generally never bother with them, but they're preset styles. You can of course create your own. Right. And that one sets it back to the normal style setting. And there you go. There is the pen tool. Nice and simple.